Hey guys, what's up? Happy Mother's Day. Hope you had a great weekend. This is Off Field. I'm Nate Jackson. He's Scott Schaefer, and it's powered by Accurate America. Boo!
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah!
Hey, everybody.
Welcome
Hey,
to the freaking
hey, Nate.
show, man. How are you, Scotty?
Welcome to Off Field. Welcome to Off Field, Nate.
Yeah, hey, thanks, man. Hey, welcome to Off Field, Scott.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Post Mother's Day.
Post
to
Mother's
everyone,
Day, man.
To all the mothers out there.
Mother's Day hangover, man.
You got one? You got
Yeah, a
Mother's
little
Day
bit,
hangover?
a little bit.
Did you-
It's hard work making life special for your significant other,
It's
man.
tough.
You know, special days, special weekends. And also when you have a significant other, but you also have a mom,
Sure.
you have a significant other who you've had children with.
Yep.
Who do you celebrate? Right?
You got to celebrate them both.
You celebrate them both, but you got to straddle that line,
You do.
man. You got to walk that line, man. So many times as a man, Scott, or as a woman, or as a person,
Sure.
you just got to walk that line
Walk
and
that line.
decide how to spend your time and your energy and the love that's in your heart.
Were there some gifts given? Were there some cards given?
Yeah, there was gifts, there
yeah.
were cards, there were flowers, there were photo collages.
Did the kids make some stuff? That's always fun when the kids make a little, like a card.
My son made a card at school.
Okay, good.
And
Could you tell what it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
he did a little picture, and then he like dictated the message, and then the teacher wrote down like
Gotcha.
what he said, and he
Sure.
just had some thoughtful, sweet words for his mommy.
It's good.
But when I was a kid, my dad would do this thing that said Happy Mother's Day on a cardboard, and he'd cut it out as like a word bubble,
Sure.
and put it on a stick, and me and my brother would hold it, and he would take the picture of that,
Nice.
and then that would be on the picture. So I do that now with
course.
my kids.
You got to keep the tradition alive.
Yeah, and so I did a little bit of that and got some nice photographs of my kiddos holding that stick that said Happy Mother's Day on the
Yeah.
side.
My dad has the ultimate dad joke for a Mother's Day gift, in the sense of like either my brother or I will set him up for it, right? Because
Okay.
we know it's coming. We know he wants to say it. So we're always like, hey, Dad, what'd you get Mom for Mother's Day? And he looks at us and goes, nothing. She's not my mother.
Yeah,
Every time. Every time. He loves it.
I've
And we-
heard that
and we-
one.
we-
I've heard that one.
And we said, oh, yeah, it's not just his, but like we set him up for it. Just it makes him so happy.
Yeah, I tried to do that philosophy. It didn't really work.
Didn't really work.
No, it hasn't really worked very well. I remember a joke that my brother told
Mhm.
when we were like kids and we went out to Mother's Day brunch. It was very, very crowded.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and my brother was like, everyone and their mothers are here.
It's a good one.
It was a good one.
I don't hate dad jokes. I
No,
like them.
that was good.
I like brother jokes too.
Yeah, what are mom jokes? Are there mom jokes?
I don't know what mom jokes like, because like I guess dads are kind of revealing the obvious. They're taking the literal, you know.
Yeah.
What would the mom jokes be? I guess they're just making fun of the dad. Probably
Yeah.
that'd be a mom
What is
joke.
a mom joke? Like also like I have a daughter now, and so I'm a girl dad.
Sure.
But you ever hear of like boy dads
Not really.
or
No
gir-
one wears those hats.
or girl mom?
yeah. No one has like
Or
that.
boy moms. You don't hear boy
Girl
moms. Girl
dad
moms?
has a good PR team.
Yeah,
That's
it
what they
does.
have.
It
Everyone
does.
like,
What? And the rest of these parent-kid relationships are meaningless?
Yeah.
If it's not a girl and her father?
every now and then I'll see a boy mom thing.
Oh, you do?
And I think it's because they have like 3 boys and they're just like, I'm tired of all the fighting.
Yeah.
But that's about it. The girl dad, I see those t-shirts and hats all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Dominic joining us, and shout
He's
out to
always here.
Graham. Yeah. Hey, good morning, Dominic. Good morning, my locos. That's what he always says.
Good morning, my locos. Well, good morning to you, Nate. Good morning to all the Guerrilla Sports viewers out there.
Yes.
We had not just Mother's Day this weekend. It was Broncos Rookie Mini Camp.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you involved in a Rookie Mini Camp back in the day?
No,
No?
I wasn't.
Is this a new thing?
It's sort of new. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like, relatively.
Well, we could probably like piece it together just by the name of it, but kind of explain to the viewers and to me exactly what a Rookie Mini Camp is and what the purpose is.
yeah. So it's where all the rookies go camping together.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
they-
Little outdoor pursuits.
They got a backpack and they go up into the woods and they set up their tent.
Mhm.
And no, this is just rookies. It's football practice with just rookies.
Yep.
That's it. Football practice with just rookies. But the difference is that none of these, and when it's just rookies, that means nobody's ever been here before.
Sure.
Nobody's been in this room. Nobody's been learned this playbook. Nobody's been in these meetings. Nobody's been on this field. So there's just a lot of ignorance there.
Kind of an orientation of sorts.
Yeah, like a freshman orientation. I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo out of high school.
Beautiful.
And we had a week of welcome.
Oh,
wow
nice.
week it
Sure.
was. And where all the incoming freshmen would go a week early.
Mhm.
And we'd get put in different groups and different games and get to know you stuff. And it was like get to know the campus and
Mhm.
scavenger hunts and stuff like that. That's
Like,
kind of
here's where the bars are at. Here's
Yeah,
where
exactly.
the seedy places that you shouldn't go to are at.
one of my guy who ended up being one of my best friends got caught smoking weed in his room on the second day of
Come
WoW.
on, Derek. Is his name Derek?
His name is Colin.
Oh, Colin.
On the second day of WoW, like the school hadn't even started yet, and he's already popped. He
Yeah.
thought it was like going to be fine to take a bong rip, just bong rips in his room. Just
Sure.
no towels
No
under
one
the
knows.
door.
Yeah.
No air filtration systems, no incense.
Just living his best life.
Yeah. So hopefully, RJ Harvey or those guys are at least putting a towel under
Yeah.
the door.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And
Have
at
the
least,
fan blowing everything out the window.
right.
Yeah.
And do you remember the old? You don't know this because you're from Kansas City, and you guys, don't really do that
We
stuff.
don't
there.
partake.
But there was the lengths that people went to conceal the smell.
Sure.
You cut or you take like a toilet paper roll and you
Mhm.
put dryer sheets in it,
Oh, does
and
that
then
work?
you blow the smoke through that.
I can't.
And when it comes out, it absolutely does. When it comes out the other side, it smells like laundry.
Well, I mean, kids, you just learned how to do
So anyway.
drugs covertly, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, these guys, these rookies, I mean, they are clean as a whistle. They're not worried about any of that. They're in the best shape of their lives.
Yep.
They just got done preparing for the draft. They got drafted. They're on a team. They're showing up ready to roll. You mentioned that there's 60 of them, right?
60 people, 60 participants.
Yeah, and like how many of those guys are going to make the team? 10.
Yeah.
So the drafted guys plus maybe a few free agents,
Mhm.
some practice squad fellas,
A lot
but
of tryout guys is what they
lot
kind
of
of
tryout
categorize
guys.
them with: draft picks,
yeah,
free agents, undrafted free agents, tryouts.
yeah.
And
So they're just like, this for many of the guys is the only chance they're going to get.
Sure.
Is this rookie minicamp? They won't get signed to a roster for training camp. So they're trying to make an impression. That's kind of difficult for coaches to figure out, because nobody knows the plays you're putting in. And so it's really hard to actually run plays because there's no veteran presence to show you the way.
Yeah.
And when a rookie goes into actual camp, the rookie watches the veterans. Here's what we do on this play. Here's how you line up. Here's how the cadence sounds.
Yeah.
Here's where we go for this drill. Here's what this drill is supposed to look like. Well, there's a bunch of rookies out there. None of that exists. It's kind of a bunch of guys who are just trying to follow the instructions of the coaches and do the best they can. And so, you accept a lot of mental errors.
Sure.
You don't put in a lot of complicated stuff. I wasn't there, so and they don't allow guys, the media, to really see everything they do. So there's limited vision on what they're doing, but they're not doing anything complicated. They want to see you out there running around, how you can take little coaching bits and run some basic stuff. And really, they just want to see your presence. How are you out there on the field? How do you interact with guys? How are you in the lunchroom? What kind of energy do you have in the weight room?
They probably
in the classroom.
Also want to see just how you handle all of this stuff being thrown at you. Like you said, it's maybe not complicated, but they've never run this stuff before.
Exactly.
This is so brand new to them. Do you think that they get, since it is the draft picks, the undrafted free agents, and tryout guys, and it is kind of an exposure camp, is everyone getting the same amount of run?
Should be, yeah. I don't think they have like starters. I mean, obviously there's a group that goes in first.
Sure.
And that's probably the RJ Harveys, the Jahdae Barrons, Pat Bryant, all the guys who were drafted.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're probably in the front of the line. But everyone's getting equal number of reps, I would imagine, and so they're probably watching it on film. They're probably going back and watching it on film, but I don't even know how much value there really is to watching what they've done on film. But at the same time, you want to see how guys process the on the field stuff, then going into the meeting room and watching it on film, and then getting coached up, right?
Yep.
Can you accept coaching? Do you have thick skin? Do you take it personal? Are you able to take something you did wrong, fix it, and come back tomorrow and do it better? And so I think that's something that you got to figure out with these young guys, because there's some projects out there. And then we're going to talk about these dudes in a little bit, but there's some guys who are, one guy in particular who's very inexperienced. So they want to see how he's picking up this terminology and just the everyday rigmarole of being a football player.
So after this training camp ended, what's next for some of these players? I guess, will some of them be possibly signed? Will some of them be let go? Will some of them do other camps with other teams? Like, how does this work?
Some of these guys are on the Broncos already.
Yep.
And I don't really know how it works. I mean, I think they have their camp OTA's minicamp roster pretty much set. I think you
Mhm.
get 90 bodies on there. And
Yeah.
so a lot of those guys who are at the rookie minicamp are not on that roster.
Sure.
But if they play well during this rookie camp, then if they get an injury, if the Broncos have an injury or something,
Yeah.
they'll be like, remember this guy from rookie minicamp? He was
Yeah.
pretty awesome, right? Or he looked like he had something for us. And so I think that you always, anytime you step on an NFL field, whether it's a weird camp or a kind of tryout, you're being watched, and they're putting that memory of who you are to the side, and if they need you, they'll give you a call. But most of those guys probably aren't going to get a chance.
Yeah. Well, we actually have some clips from rookie minicamp.
Yeah, we got some guys talking afterwards. We got
Yeah.
our first look at some of the players, and then Sean Payton, of course, chatting it up. And hold on, first, Graham.
Oh yeah, a lot going on in the comments.
Tietke. How would you pronounce Graham's last name there?
Spell it out phonetically for us, please.
Tiedtke.
Tidke? Tidke.
Tietke.
Tidke.
Tietke. Probably Tietke.
Tidke. Tidke.
Well, he said, "Hey, Nate, what's your favorite part of training camps?" Favorite part is when it's over. No, training camp used to be pretty tough. We used to have double days. We used to be in pads both days. We used to be kicking the crap out of each other. And when I was a receiver, it was one thing. It was hard because you're running so much and you're growing and your hamstrings are perpetually sore, and you're running routes against guys like Champ Bailey and putting in new plays, and dog days of summer, and it's hot and you're doing double days. And that was hard enough. But then when I became a tight end and I had to gain weight and put my hand in the dirt and block these behemoths every day in the hot sun, it's not just about running, it's about hand-to-hand combat, Scott. That stuff sucked.
Yeah.
So my favorite part of training camp were, of course, when it was over. But I think being around the guys, perfecting your craft as you get older, getting in shape, making plays, and just the grind of it. You got to embrace that.
Would you see people just walk out? Did you ever see athletes do that? Really
walk out?
Kind of like it's
just
like
quit.
boot camp. Yeah, you can like ring the bell.
There was one guy who in the middle of training camp retired, and he was like a second-year guy. Like he's like, I'm done with this. I'm not
done with this team. I'm done with football.
It's not for me. Yeah, because it is hard, man.
Yeah,
and coaching matters, and the coaches you have talking to you every day really will affect the way you look at the game. Like if you have an asshole coach who won't stop writing you and just wants to be a dick just because, you may have really loved football once, you start to really hate it.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing that can happen when you see a player get demoralized by an asshole coach.
Sure.
Because some coaches want to be the dick. Yeah. They want to be the loudest one. They want to be the one that everybody hears after every play is over.
Yeah.
So they're the first one yelling. They're always like, we had a tight end coach who never opened his teeth at practice because he was so mad all the time. God damn it, Tony. Get your head out of your ass.
He's trying to talk like that.
You can't open his mouth.
And he must have grinded his teeth during his sleep.
But then after practice, he put his arm around Jay, boy. I love you, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of like, what? It's a mind. It's a mind F.
And you kind of think you would be over the mind games once you're a pro, but they still matter. They still happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conga Hydra, appreciate you, Conga, saying, when players would get in fights during training camp, was it because the players disliked each other or something else? Yeah, both. I mean, sometimes, you don't like a guy and you're battling every day against them, and it's hot. It's the same plays over and over, and you just start to get irritated with one another. Or sometimes there's a guy who doesn't like the way he was hit, like maybe his back was to you and you hit him and he didn't like that. And so there's going to be a fight there. I got in a fight when I was a rookie in San Francisco 49ers training camp. And it was this guy who just didn't like me. He was picking on me. Like, I was like the D3 white kid receiver trying to make the team. And I was like Johnny Hustle.
Of course, they probably hated that guy.
And this guy hated me.
Try hard.
Yeah, I was a try hard. I was trying to make the team, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything illegal or cheap.
But
I was just making you work for it, man.
You're wearing them out.
So if it's a running play, I'm actually going to block you. I'm not going to play patty cake with you. I'm not going to go down and be like, no, I'm actually trying to block you. Yeah. And I think that, every coach loves a receiver who really blocks, who takes that seriously. We're going to talk about this in a little bit with Pat Bryant. He takes that very seriously, and coaches are going to love that. But this guy, Ronnie Hurd, didn't like that, right? So he would always talk shit to me. And then one day, it was at the end of training camp, like I go to block him, and I got him pretty good. And then he turned and threw me down,
Mhm.
or like we both went down, like,
Yeah.
and we popped up, and then he hit me in the head, like an open-handed punch in the head.
Sure.
And then I just shoved him back. I wasn't gonna hit him, and then the whole team's rushed over, and it was a brawl.
Yeah.
Like a whole team brawl, offense versus defense. And then the cool thing about it was at the end of training camp, and coach called practice after that. Practice was over.
Yeah.
Because practice was almost over anyway. But then back in meeting rooms, we like watched the fight on
Sure.
video
You got
in
to.
like slow-mo, and we're seeing what was going on. Ronnie Hurd ended up playing a couple more years in the league. I see someone saying, did that guy make the team? Yeah, he had like a 3 or 4 year career. I ended up coming here to Denver and having a longer career than Ronnie Hurd. But I
never heard of him.
You never heard of him.
Yeah.
But sometimes, and I've heard my old radio partner Orlando Franklin tells this story pretty often about him, and I think it was him and Derek Wolfe. So Orlando was on the offensive line, Derek was on the defensive line, and they didn't want to practice anymore. They were tired.
Yeah.
And so they're like, wink, wink, let's fight,
Sure.
and so they had a fight, and they got kicked out of practice, and they got to sit out the rest of practice.
I bet they're so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's
that's some gamesmanship right there. That's some veteran stuff.
There's a fine, but then I've seen some gnarly stuff. Like we practiced against the Cowboys. It's training camp. You'll practice against the team for a couple days before you actually play against them. And those ones get chippy.
Sure.
There's a lot of fights.
We always see like the highlights of that.
Yeah.
Of those things.
Flozell Adams was an offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys, and he ripped off Nate Webster's helmet and was swinging it, and he was trying to hit people with it. I mean, before Myles Garrett became famous for doing that in a game, it happened in practice. I'm probably more than once, but that was against the Cowboys. That was like 2007. So training camp fights pretty common. Mini camp fights not as common.
Sure.
Especially not rookie. If there's a fight in rookie camp, these guys are doing it wrong. There's probably no contact. There's no physicality. They're not hitting each other. There's no pads on.
That's probably a red flag. And I know football coaches want aggression and they want toughness, but that rookie mini camp probably is the place to be throwing hands with people.
Yeah. That's like that's a little too much too soon.
Yeah.
Right.
Say that for the Trader Joe's parking lot. Okay?
That's right. This is a learning experience. Sure. Okay. And they want to see how you can follow instructions and line up in the right spot and some basic skills and things like that. So I know Sean Payton had some things to say about minicamp in general. But first off, let's hear about the guy, RJ Harvey. Let's hear about Peyton Manning talking about our new running back. All right. Well, we couldn't hear that in here. I'm not sure if you guys could hear it there.
How do you think it sounded, though? How do you think he started? Because I know when you get in your Sean Payton, you kind of do some karate.
Well, relative to other press conference, look, if you get there's a thing we look for.
It's like he's in here right now.
We're coming, and then we're gonna get RJ. There's traits we look for.
You need a visor.
And so RJ Harvey. Let's talk about him before we listen to him, because I don't know if
it's one of those things like do you think that the coaches at a rookie minicamp are going to see anything kind of different than what they've already seen on film? Is there any type of thing that even a drafted guy can do to help himself at a rookie minicamp?
Certainly. Yeah, that's a good question. So guys like RJ Harvey, who's a running back, who's a versatile running back. He's a runner and a pass catcher, and he did both really well at UCF. However, the systems are going to be a little bit different. So the things they ask you to do will be a little bit different. The pass protection schemes, they might be a little bit different for running backs. So are you able to read things that you're seeing from linebackers and blitzing and blitzing defensive players? Routes that you'll run, maybe a little bit different routes than what you've ran out of the backfield in college, because the playbook's going to be a lot bigger here. And then terminology, just learning a new system, learning the language behind the system. It's really not just about the system itself, but the language that determines where you go is going to be different. So you got to learn a whole new book.
Sure.
And so that part is different. The altitude, a little bit different.
Kind of forget about that.
Yeah. But after a couple weeks, you get used to it. So little stuff like that.
Well, are they going full pads? Are they going?
Not now.
Okay.
No, they shouldn't. They're just in helmets and shorts and jerseys and whatnot. So I think They don't go pads until training camp really starts. So they got a couple OTAs, couple meetings and things like a couple OTAs, couple mini camps.
Sure.
And during those times, you're just really seeing how they move in shorts. And so the contact isn't there. And so it's really hard to judge a guy like RJ Harvey, a running back who is compact, strong, got some big thighs.
I thought you were gonna say juicy, big juicy thighs.
Big juicy thighs. Andy, are we able to run those photos, that little slideshow that we have in there that we can circle through? That looks like Pat. Yeah, there's RJ Harvey. Yeah, they got the thing on their forehead that says your last name. So if anybody is confused, they can see you there.
Well, yeah, 60 new players.
But there's just a lot of guys that, these faces that we don't know, and these people that we don't know and that we're going to get to know. And right now, this is them probably the stretching line, just kind of get up there, Sean Payton, relative to his hat and his, yep. And it's exciting. It's an exciting time because you get to see some new faces, get back on the grass. And
also probably a little bit of like not a whole lot of pressure in the sense of like the veterans aren't there.
Yeah.
So maybe you can kind of like, I don't know, get a feel of the team, of Sean Payton, of the offense without kind of being barked at by
well, they're still barking.
veterans.
They're still barking. Oh, the veterans
No,
don't. Veterans don't bark at you, man.
Okay.
Yeah, veterans don't. They accept that. And there's Jahdae Barron, number 12. He's wearing number 12, which is an interesting number for a DB.
Oh yeah, Barron.
Jahdae Barron. Yeah. Oh, is that Caleb? Is that Caleb Lohner? We're number 80. But yeah, some good photos of Jahdae Barron here, going through some drills. Again, these are all just drills. You see, they're just kind of dressed in the helmet stuff, and pretty much that's it. So get to know you, get to know each other, get to know coaching styles, get to see you move out there. They're probably not trying to crush them physically. This probably wasn't a super strenuous practice. It's just getting to know these new faces.
Well, are they kind of keeping this like almost like a training camp model where they'll stay in like dorms or housing? Like what's kind of the situation for a rookie mini camp, I guess?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they're probably staying in a hotel.
Yeah.
They're probably
only a weekend.
They're having some extended stay stuff. I mean, even the rookies, they haven't found apartments and houses yet.
Yeah.
Even the guys like the first, even Jahdae Barron, who's going to make the team, who knows where he's living yet? I doubt he's bought a house.
Just some Marriott Bonvoy place.
Yeah. It's probably not. Points. It's not ideal time to buy a house in Denver, man.
Well, never is because it's so expensive here.
No, but like the inventory is super high right now.
Oh.
It's like a really weird real estate market. I'm sure it won't matter to the guys who are making a ton of money and are 22. Like, yep, I'll take it.
Matters us.
But no, they're probably all staying in hotels, and they got a bus that comes and picks them up at a certain time and takes them. They might have a car, they might not. It's a lot. Sometimes it's just easier to just like follow the itinerary and show up downstairs at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the shuttle's going to be there to pick you up and take you to the facility, and then it'll be there. You'll be there till 4 or 5. Then it'll take you back to the hotel and that kind of thing. And they'll feed you and do all that.
I was reviewing the roster of the 60 kind of participants for the rookie minicamp, and there was a bunch of local guys in there too. So handful of CU guys, some CSU guys, CSU Pueblo. There was even D2 teams like that, like Colorado School of Mines had a couple players. That's always fun to see those guys who don't get all the pub, kind of get their chance at, even if it's a long shot, get their chance with a pro organization. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It is really cool. And it is a long shot for those guys, but you never know.
No.
You know what I mean? I was one of those kids. I was one of those kids who got invited to the 49ers, like local tryout day. And there was all these local schools, and I was a D3 kid, and made a good impression there.
Yeah.
Ended up getting signed to the 49ers as a free agent, didn't get drafted, but it was on the strength of those kinds of workouts.
Sure.
And that was sort of a rookie minicamp type of feel to it.
Yeah.
And so they're always watching, and you never know when you're going to get your shot. We talked about Jahdae Barron for a second there. Let's hear Sean Payton, if we could, on Jahdae Barron.
And that was Coach Sean Payton on Jahdae Barron.
Yeah, Jahdae Barron. It's going to be really interesting to see what kind of role he'll have on the team. As Sean Payton was just mentioning right there, you see the skills, you see the talent, you see the nose for the football, right?
Yeah.
The instincts. And that kind of thing is, you can't teach that stuff. And that's why he was drafted.
Yep.
In the first round by the Broncos at number 20. And it came as a surprise to a lot of folks. So
you kind of called it. You thought they were going to take
I thought they could take a
cornerback or a tight end. I remember you saying that. But then also, the defense is already a top 5 defense. So I think they know what they're really looking for. If they're getting him at 20, they know that that's a guy that that can absolutely help their already stacked defensive backfield.
Yeah, and they had him graded a lot higher. So it's like, he fell to them, and they were surprised that he was there. So it's like, okay, this is the best player that's available.
Yeah.
He's going to help our team. Yes, we might have a strength at defense, but to me, that opposite corner of Patrick Surtain is still a question mark. And it's not just, for a variety of reasons. One, anyone who's opposite the best player in the league at his position, Patrick Surtain was the defensive player of the year.
Yep.
So the quarterbacks on the opposite team are going to look the other way.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to throw to the best player on the field.
Sure.
They want to throw to the opposite side. Who's on the opposite side? That's a question. Riley Moss played well last year for about half the games.
Sure.
He was injured, and he was injured the previous season. I say this not as someone who's judging a guy who gets hurt. I got hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I got hurt so much. It sucked so bad. 3 out of my 6 seasons ended on injured reserve, Scott. It was disappointing as hell. I'd be playing really, really well. Right when something good would happen, the next week something bad would happen, and my season would be over. It sucked. It sucked balls.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
So I sympathize with Riley, but he's going to have to prove that he can be healthy.
Sure.
And until he proves that, they're going to have to prepare his replacement, which they absolutely did. Now, Jahdae Barron could get hurt in training camp and never step on the field this season. Fingers crossed that never happens. Riley Moss is going to have to go compete. But I'll tell you this about that room. That cornerback room, Scott. It's going to be a competition.
Sure.
It ain't going to get handed to nobody, all right? It ain't going to get handed to nobody.
Say this like your tight end coach.
It ain't going to get handed to you, man. You think you're going to come in here and just get the job handed to you? It's not going to happen like that.
I'd die if I talked like that. It's too intense.
You want to know a funny?
Probably poop my pants, too.
So this was Tim Brewster, tight end coach, and he ended up coaching at CU for Coach Prime's first year.
Sure.
He's the guy who was like, stand up. Sit down. We coming. I don't know if you remember that clip, but he was the one who was pacing back and forth in front of the room. But Tony Scheffler was a wide receiver here at the time as a rookie, and Brew was on his ass like white on rice every day with the teeth like this, right? Yeah. So we're in one of the first games of the season. It's a pass play. Tony's out there, and pass play broke down or whatever. Tony just played ball, found himself open in the end zone, caught a touchdown pass. Sure. And everyone's super stoked for Tony, except Brew, because he didn't do what he's supposed to do. And he comes over on the sideline, and everyone's trying to congratulate Tony, and Brew pulls him in close by his face and has to start. But the thing about Brew is he was dipping.
Oh,
he had Copenhagen in. And so he spit it, and he got Copenhagen spit in Tony's eye. And Tony had to get his eyeball flushed out in the middle of the game right after his first ever touchdown catch.
Right. It's not how he saw that going at all.
It isn't.
That was not on the bingo card.
I personally don't think that that's a super effective way to coach.
Sure.
Telling everyone all the time like this, okay? Yeah. The Broncos have a really good coaching staff, and they don't have a lot of those guys, which I appreciate. They have more teachers. They have guys who are trying to get through to you, right? Yeah. And I think the message will be clear. Sean Payton, I heard him talk about it yesterday, and every single other coach is going to echo this. You have to earn it on the field.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be given a starting role. I'll tell you what, if Pat Surtain comes in here and all of a sudden can't play football anymore, he forgot how to play.
Yeah,
he would get benched too.
Absolutely.
That's how you have to run a good team. You have to let everyone know that the standard of excellence exists across the board, same for everybody. And you have to come to work every day and prove that you deserve us to be a starter.
Yeah.
And I think for Riley Moss and Jahdae Barron in particular, those two guys are going to be battling to see who starts opposite Pat Surtain. And to me, it's not made up yet.
Well, Riley Moss also kind of has another mountain to climb in the sense that teams know he's been hurt. They're going to go after him just to prove, let's see if you're in shape. Let's see if you're healthy. Let's see if you're all this and that. And then, that kind of might expose him. He could prosper. It doesn't matter. But I like the fact that there is the competition over there on that side. For the
Yeah, and Riley, you talk about that injury. I mean, he had the MCL injury at the end of the season last year, rushed it back, and was out on the field against the Bengals in a really important time of the year. I mean, they ended up making the playoffs, but the Bengals went after him. Like you said, they picked on him, and they knew he was coming back from the injury.
Yeah.
And he was playing against the best offensive team in the world, playing their best of all of the season. So it was a tall task. I think Riley was set up to fail in that position.
Yeah.
He probably shouldn't have been out there. He was rushed out there, and then he had to go play against, the most potent offense in the league. So Riley, got a bad rap on that one. I think Riley is a really good corner, and I think if he can stay healthy, he's going to have a role on this team no matter what.
Sure. I get that.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Before we get in, to
going to the laptop.
Well, I mean, you never know, guys. You never know where and when the hail is going to hit when the summer storm comes and the weather is warming up and the summer storms are coming. Actually, there was a little bit of a summer storm yesterday, a tiny one, but a little bit of hail came down. The last thing you want to be doing is getting caught scrambling after that does happen, after it damages your roof. So make that call before the storm, guys. That's right. Call Accurate America. You see him, right? Yep.
It's hard to do.
Right there. Bam.
You're a terrible weatherman.
Call Accurate America before the storm. They're going to partner with you on navigating insurance, which is a pain in the you-know-what. Provide quick, professional, knowledgeable service using the latest technology and 3D modeling, guys. Their work is guaranteed as long as you own your home. Don't scramble at the last minute. Make the call before the storm. Call Accurate America, 303-900-ROOF. That's 303-900-ROOF. Before the storm.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was really good. While you were reading that, Conga Hydra over here, he might be on your Wikipedia page right now. It says Nate is one of only 3 players from Menlo College to ever play in the NFL. Can you name the other 2?
I cannot.
You cannot?
A little bit of detail too to that. Menlo College used to be a junior college before I got there. It was a junior college in the 80s.
Sure.
And those other 2 guys who made it to the NFL were part of the junior college thing. So we actually went on to play.
Moved on somewhere else.
To a different, bigger school. But I am the only one who's actually come straight out of Menlo to the NFL.
I get you.
But we had some ballers, man. We had some dudes who could have made it, if they had been given more of an opportunity. We had some really, really good skill position players.
Sure.
Our quarterback, Zamir Amin, broke the all divisions passing yards in a game record with 731 yards in a game. We lost that game.
Yeah, I was saying that can't be.
It was funny because, Division three school, we didn't have a huge budget. Oftentimes we'd ride the bus there the day of the games and stuff like that. And this particular day we got lost going to the game. And we showed up like 15 minutes, like the buses rolled up 15 minutes before the game was started.
You got a D3 bus driver. That's what you got.
That's right.
You need a D1 bus driver. What are you doing?
We were like getting taped on the bus and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like, we're late. We roll up to the stadium and they're already like finishing their warm-ups. They're out there as a team. And so they gave us like an extra 10 or 15 minutes to get in there and ready. But like
cutting it close.
We came out and we started understandably slow.
Yeah.
They went up like 21-0 in the first quarter, and then we had to throw every pass to every play to keep
slinging it.
And we got down to like the 4-yard line as time expired. We would have won the game. We ended up losing like 39-34 or something like that.
I expected that to be in the 60s.
There were 5 guys who had over 100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
I had like 238.
I was gonna say you had to be one of them.
Yeah. It was and on one of the last plays of the game, I caught what would have been the winning touchdown. But it was called back for holding. I had some friends in the stands who didn't know that and rushed the field.
No.
I had a buddy who ran.
Come on, Colin.
I had a buddy who ran all the way across the field. Yay! Go all the way up to me and like congratulated me. And then he's like looked around and realized that.
Did they think he was in a streak? He was a streaker.
Yeah. And then they escorted him out. And to this day, he's like says he still has anxiety about that. It was like the most embarrassing thing he's ever.
I mean, he was jacked up though. He was ready to go.
He was.
He was a proud Menlo Oak.
Yeah, he didn't go to Menlo though. He was just a friend of mine.
He was a proud Nate Jackson fan.
Yeah, we went to high school together, and he lived in Southern California. We played a lot of games in Southern California back then.
Yeah.
And anyway, our quarterback ended up, breaking the record. It's since been broken.
Oh wow.
It's like 736 now. So, yeah, that's a lot of yards.
Hopefully they won. Whoever broke the record.
Look at Conga Hydra there. Yeah, tackle Bert Delavan
Delvin and
and
Quilana Park.
Cullen.
55, 56. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Running
So not the football factory
Hey,
when it comes to the NFL,
It's not nothing.
but these days more and more small school guys get opportunities because the scouting is just so good.
Yeah.
And they're going to find you. They're going to find the good players out there.
I've also heard
Like
that
Pierre Garcon was a
Yeah.
D3 receiver. London Fletcher was a D3 player. There's D3 guy. And now, like, I think this is a good segue into this guy here, Caleb Lohner, who's like didn't even play football at all.
kind of a project.
Yeah, big time project. Like played three different basketball programs.
I think it's Baylor, TCU, and BYU.
Utah.
Sorry.
Utah,
not TCU.
Have I told you my Utah joke?
Probably, but I want to hear it again.
Say, I ain't never been to Utah. The only thing I know about Utah is I seen two guys walk into my bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, man, you short and you tall.
Good Lord.
I mean the comic laugh.
It's not hard to make
You
me
laughed.
laugh.
You
Yeah,
laughed.
I laughed.
You
That's a
did.
good one. I was wondering where you're going with that one because, like, I think that was my reaction. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Utah.
But Caleb Lohner, man, he's a 6'7", 200 pound, 250 pound dude who ran like a 4.6.
Huge target.
Can move. Obviously, the basketball players are enticing. Jimmy Graham was a basketball player. Antonio Gates was a college basketball player.
Did Antonio Gates play at all in college?
He did not.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And so,
but also Caleb Lohner, I think, what was his stat? Like
4 catches, 4 touchdowns.
That's not bad.
But only 57 snaps.
Yeah.
But the Broncos need help at tight end. I mean, they signed Evan Ingram, but that's going to be a couple years.
Yeah.
They want a long-term dog.
Sure.
And so the question is, can he be that? But Sean Payton was asked about Caleb Lohner, and here's what he said. All right, we're having some technical difficulties there, but yeah, basically just Sean talking about the intriguing traits that he has that remind him of Jimmy Graham. Now he is quick to remind us that Jimmy Graham was a 3rd-round draft pick.
Sure, played a lot of football
and played not a lot, but some.
Well, compared to Caleb Lohner,
yeah, exactly,
a lot.
Yeah, you played more than Caleb Lohner.
Caldwell High School, baby. Let's go. Go Blue Jays. Fighting Blue Jays.
Fighting Blue Jays.
Well, when you have one of those not intimidating mascots, you have to put fighting in front of it.
Yeah.
No one's scared of a Blue Jay, but the Fighting Blue Jays, no one's still scared, but still, it tries. It helps.
Yeah, no one's scared of Blue Jay. Although I remember one day growing up in San Jose, California, where I'm from, one summer, those long summer days as kids, just like when, just playing and doing all kinds. But there was like a Blue Jay in the neighborhood that like something happened to it.
Uh-oh.
And it went, I don't know if it was rabid or what, but it was attacking everybody.
Oh, they're mean, but no one knows that.
I know that.
Yeah. You saw it one time.
I saw it attack like 3 or 4 people in that same day.
Yeah. Don't mess with us. We're fighters.
Us.
Blue Jay forever. Blue Jays, hoorah.
Who would win a Blue Jay or an Oak?
I mean, the Oak. Oaks should have waited out. You know
exactly.
The Blue Jay can't take down an Oak. It's a tall task.
Yeah.
Tall
task, just like covering Caleb Lohner on the goal line because he's a tall player. So the question will be to me not if Caleb Lohner can go up high and catch a pass. Sure. He knows how to do that. It'll be, can he get in a 3-point stance, fire off, and hit somebody? Mm-hmm. Can he be a believable enough blocker to not be a tell every time he comes in? Can he get his pad level low enough to not get stymied on the line of scrimmage by linebackers and safeties who just know how to hit and how to handle you? Can you work on your footwork to get in and out of breaks fast enough so these DBs don't jump in front of you and undercut you? The high ball, high point stuff, I think that'll be easy for him. But how many times a game are you going to do that? Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe sometimes not at all. You want to be an every down tight end. I know that's what he wants. So it's all the other stuff that he's going to have to learn how to do, how to read coverages, how to play special teams. How much, I don't know how much special teams will ask him to do because you rarely see like a 6'7" guy on special teams, but there could be a role for him. So how much other stuff can you do, and how quickly can you pick up on the system?
This may be a kind of a question. It's maybe too broad of a question because we don't necessarily know the individual people. How much do you think Evan Ingram will kind of take like a Caleb Lohner or a Lucas Kroll under his wing as like the veteran? Like, does he see himself necessarily as like, hey, I'm here to help these young guys, or is he just there to do his job?
Yeah, I think there's an elements of him. Yeah, you never know what his personality is like.
Yeah.
But if the veterans are smart, they want to impart their wisdom on the younger guys. Some veterans are a little stubborn with that because they don't want to be replaced.
Sure.
You know, if I teach you how to do what I can do and you do it better, I'm gone.
Quickers, yeah.
But Evan Ingram, I don't think he has anyone to push him in that regard here.
Yeah.
He's a one of one when it comes to his skill set as a tight end. Caleb Lohner's never going to be able to learn to do what Evan Ingram does for a team, and that is Evan Ingram can run every route that a receiver can run. He has that quick twitch ability, the route running ability, start, stop, acceleration, in and out of the break stuff that most receivers have, but most tight ends do not have that. That's why he's a joker.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram's a joker because he has uncommon receiving skills at a non-receiver position. So that's why he's brought in. He's got a ton of experience. He does that. Nobody else does that. And Jimmy Graham didn't do that.
Sure.
Like, Antonio Gates didn't even really do that. Antonio Gates wasn't taking the top off of anything. He could just get open in a phone booth.
In a phone booth.
You know what I mean? Like
he Sean Payton phone booth.
He could get open like 3rd and 6. He's your guy every time, right? Down on the goal line, he knows how to win in the red zone when there's not in much space. Caleb Lohner is never going to be the route runner that Evan Ingram is.
Yeah.
And most tight ends are not. And so I think Evan Ingram can take a little bit from all these guys. And that's the cool thing about being a rookie going into camp is you can take something from everyone's game.
Yeah.
Because he's also going to learn a lot from Adam Troutman. He's going to learn more from Adam Troutman probably than Evan Ingram because that's the stuff he needs to work on more, the blocking. And Adam Troutman's the blocking tight end here. And so the technique – and look, like I think you and I have talked about this before. There may be a world in which on game day, Caleb Lohner has a very specific role.
Mm-hmm.
But in practice, you got to do everything.
Yeah.
You don't get to be like a gadget guy in practice.
Yeah.
You got to put your hand in the dirt and do 9-on-7 and block all these hungry ass psychos on a daily basis who are way better than you at the physical stuff.
Sure.
So a lot of this is going to be coaches watching Caleb to see how he handles that, getting beat up every day.
Sure.
Okay. Now, like we were talking about earlier, it's not as physical as it used to be.
Yeah.
They're not wearing pads. They're not doing double days. They only have like limited padded practices. And even those, they can only be so long. Bunch of sissies out here, right? Bunch of freaking,
pansies.
You know what?
Yeah.
Pansies.
It's a family
how
show.
do you develop the callus
Yeah.
to go out there and do it on game day? This is a fine line. Sean Payton comes from the Bill Parcells school of thought, where they do beat the crap out of each other. They do want to have physical practices, and that is what prepares you to meet a physical season. Nathaniel Hackett thought you could come here and play patty cake.
Yeah.
Waddly-acha, doodly-doo. It's doodly-doo. It ain't oochie-goochie goo.
That's not how we sang it in Kansas.
With the Fighting Blue Jays.
Uli-uli-oo, wally-acha.
Oh, my gosh. No, it's waddly-acha, doodly-doo.
I might have been singing it wrong my whole life, actually.
Graham. Can you put up that last one about Trevor Price at training camp? Oh, no, it was the last comment. No, it was just the last comment that we were just looking at there. Yeah. I remember Trevor Price at training camp. Guy always jokingly complained to the fans about having to go through camp. It was hilarious. Yeah, Trevor Price, he may have been joking with you guys, but that dude was really hard to block for me. It was my first year as a tight end, and Trevor Price is like 6'6", 275, super athletic.
Yeah.
It was really hard, and it was very humbling for me to have to go try to block a dude like that and just get absolutely ragdolled. I mean, he would like snicker when I would come up there, and he would like try to take it easy on me, but every once in a while, if the play was coming to him, he had to make the play.
His job.
So that's how you learn, though, that trial by fire. It happens really fast. And after a year or two, I was able to hold my own and be an effective blocker. But those first years were very difficult. And Caleb Lohner's going to have that same kind of transition. Conga Hydra saying, I met Trevor at Club Vinyl back in the day. He didn't seem to like Denver much from what I gathered. He was more of an East Coast guy, Trevor Price. Really creative dude. He's a writer now. He does like children's books and stuff like that, music. And he's just, I think that some guys they have the body for football. They're really physically talented, but they don't really like it much, And they just
got other interests. They have
the daily grind of it is just like it already kind of sucks.
Yeah.
To throw your body out there, but you really got to love the sport to like to be able to enjoy
Well,
it.
yeah, and you even mentioned like you saw a guy day 2 of training camp just quit,
Yeah.
retire from the whole sport, and so I get that there's a kind of a duality of those things. Even if you love it, you might not love it that much.
Yeah. And like pain isn't fun, you know?
No.
You know, getting hit all the time, that's not fun.
I stubbed my toe the other day.
Yeah, did you?
My
Why'd-
pinky toe.
How'd you do that?
I was just walking, just being a person,
Ow.
having a coffee table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I fought through it. Yeah, I grinded my teeth, and I told myself to be man. I'm spitting everywhere.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Well, so when we talk
I'm
about
new to talking like that.
Yeah. And I know we have a clip, but the clips aren't working. But I want to talk about Pat Bryant, the receiver.
Yep.
Okay, because the stuff that I was just talking about, the dirty stuff, the stuff that you do when you're not catching the ball, the stuff when it's not a perfect little, high point ball that you get to go and showcase your receiving skills. Pat Bryant has talked yesterday or at rookie mini camp about what his strengths are, and it's being physical in the running game.
Sure.
And setting the precedent. LJ Humphrey, Lil Jordan Humphrey,
Mm-hmm.
who was here the last couple of years and was a Sean Payton holdover from from the Rams,
From the Saints.
New Orleans Saints, St. Louis,
St.
New
Louis.
Orleans Saints, for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Played 52% of the snaps last year. That's a lot for a guy that people think is just like a special teams player. He was a very important part of this offense that kind of, was able to do some things. And I think that you got to replace that guy. And I think Pat Bryant is sort of that guy because he's a physical presence in the running game. LJ Humphrey started half the game, and it wasn't so he could catch the first pass of the day. It was so he could go out there and set the tone by blocking, and whether it was on a running play or a short pass where he goes and springs a guy for more yardage. You don't really see that or talk about that on the broadcast because you're following the ball.
Yeah.
But those guys in that room know, and your worth as a teammate is based on all those little things that you do that nobody on the TV or in the booth really sees or pays attention to. And so it's about finding the right mix of guys who are going to come together and everyone do their little job.
Yeah.
And some of those jobs are selfless. Some of them never get any accolades, and sometimes PFF will give you a bad grade, Scott.
PFF, yeah.
That's what I call them.
Yeah.
But your coaches know and your teammates know what your value is, and they see that on a daily basis. And I go back to the fight I got in for the San Francisco 49ers and Ronnie Hurd. DBs don't like getting blocked by receivers.
Sure.
But you know who does like that? The offensive coaches, everyone on offense, and ultimately those defensive players respect you when they become your teammates, and then you go play someone else.
Yeah.
But when you're practicing against people every day, it can get tiresome. But that sort of motor is what's going to be the difference in a game in the fourth quarter between a 5-yard run and a 50-yard touchdown run, Scott. You never want to let it down. And if you develop those practice habits to go and take that running game seriously as a receiver, the world's going to open up to you. And guess what? The coaches are going to want to throw you the ball more after that. Rod Smith used to tell me, or he has told me, that he's more proud of Terrell Davis's back-to-back 2,000-yard or back-to-back Super Bowls and Terrell Davis's 2,000-yard receiving year than he is of his own, 100 catch seasons and the Pro Bowls he made, because he knows what it takes to have a guy rush for 2,000 yards.
Sure.
It's not TD breaking 11 tackles on every play.
Yeah.
It's 11 guys busting their ass or 10 other guys busting their ass so the one guy can break it.
Well, what was Pat Bryant's saying?
Yeah, if you want the rock, you got to block or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's right about that. So I'm anxious.
That's a great
to see
mentality
what Pat
to have.
But aside from that, he's also has some really good ball skills, some good body control, some good understanding of zone, some good feet, and the ability to win contested catches, and that's really what we need.
Nice.
What were you looking at?
Well, more commenters coming out about nightclubs.
Yeah, man. If you want to put those up there.
Yeah, let's do that one. Conga Hydra. I also met a guy at the club, the church, who claimed he was Champ Bailey's weed dealer.
Oh, yes. Okay. Man, Conga, you've been out and about, man.
I was going to say, yeah.
You've been crushing it. Yeah, the church used to be a pretty popular nightclub around here. It's literally an old church that they turned into a nightclub, which
might as well.
Yeah, might as well.
Might as well. It's a big space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's fun.
Yeah, I feel like Conga's on the on Wikipedia's right now, just going nuts.
No, Conga like has
He
some
knows,
experience. out here.
stuff. He knows
Yeah.
stuff.
But ultimately, rookie camp is over.
Yep.
And then they're going to do OTAs, and the veterans are going to be involved in the mini camps, and then the guys can fall in and really start seeing how it's done.
Yeah.
You get 60 guys to come in, and they haven't played together before. They're learning everything at the same time. There's no veteran presence in there. There's no real hierarchy.
Yeah.
Most of those guys aren't going to be around very long, so it's not really indicative of what you're going to see. But you can see a guy going through drills. You can see a guy how he is with other guys around.
Yeah.
You can see if he's punctual. You can see his warm-up routine. You can see how seriously he takes it. You can see his body language after a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Or how they respond to a mistake. That's like such a huge part of this process is how do you respond after you mess up?
Because you're gonna mess up.
Yes.
It happens.
The guy opposite of you who's trying to get you to mess up,
Yep.
he's pretty damn good too.
Mm.
He's getting paid too. He's one of the best football players in the world too. So yes, you're going to mess up every day in one way or the other. The thing is, you got to try to mess up less than you succeed.
Yeah.
If you win more than you lose, you're going to have a career. If you lose more than you win these individual battles, you're not.
Yeah.
And that's it. So you're going to lose some. You get back in the huddle, you shake it off, and you go win the next one. And that's what they want to see from these guys.
Yeah. Well, I think it's an exciting time. Hopefully we see some of these guys, the 60 participants of the rookie mini camp.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see them on the team.
Yeah.
And on that 90-man roster.
Yeah.
Once season does start.
Yeah.
Also, I think that was a good one. That was a good show.
It was a good
Sorry
one,
about
Scotty.
the technical difficulties.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, we're good there.
But yeah, I mean, it's
we got Sean Payton right here. If you need to hear Sean Payton talk,
relative to other interviews. But look, this is a slow time of season for
Yep.
Broncos news. Obviously, the Nuggets are the big story right now.
Yep.
Right. Tied up. I was at the game on Friday night.
How was it?
It was awesome, dude.
Yeah, electric.
It was a great win. I mean, the Nuggets didn't play that great in the first half, and we're down only six at halftime.
Yep.
Nikola Jokic somehow stopped. Like he forgot how to play basketball
Nah.
recently. Nah, have you been watching the last games? He hasn't played well, dude.
He hasn't played well, but I think that's if anyone's gonna bounce back, it's him. So
Why? Because
he's the best basketball player in the world. He knows what to do. He knows how they're guarding him. He will bounce back.
Playing like the best basketball player in the world?
No, his last two games have
last
been
3 games.
2 games.
He had the first game that was stellar, and the last 3 haven't been good.
I mean, you're asking a lot of him, okay? And then when he isn't playing well, other guys need to step up.
That's right.
And we've had that.
And they're not. No, we haven't.
That's why they got the second win, man.
Yeah, that's it.
People, we're staying. They're picking him up. He's down. Pick up your big Serbian.
No, the game yesterday was just kind of weird, man. Like, I was thinking about it because they started off so slow. They scored 7 points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It was like so weird. But they started the game at 1:30. Every other game for the last however long they've been playing at night. And so you play a game at 8 o'clock at night. It doesn't end until 11. Your adrenaline's going like crazy, right?
Yeah.
You probably don't fall asleep till 3 or 4. And your body clock is just very different from when it is during the regular season or whatever. And now you gotta on just a little less than 48 hours go play at a time when you're probably normally sleeping.
Yeah.
And they don't have an opportunity to adjust the body clock or whatever. So that was kind of a weird game on Sunday, but hopefully they can get back on the saddle, man.
I see them. I see it going 7 no matter what, but it's just one of those things where these are 2 great teams. Probably people didn't see them playing this early. At the beginning of the season, I think these 2 were like some of the best coming out of the West with the Lakers, but then the Lakers kind of petered. So petered out. So yeah, I'm excited.
Has anyone ever petered in?
I don't think so. I've only heard out.
There are all these weird sayings that don't exist in the opposite, like discombobulated.
Yeah.
You ever been combobulated?
I've never been combobulated whatsoever.
Right.
Discombobulated. It's a good one. Also, you had a good rigmarole. It's a good word.
Rigmarole.
Fun word.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Don't ask me the definition. I just know how to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll use it on the way out.
Yeah, that's enough for this rigmarole.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll get all this cattywampus out of here.
Right.
Guys, thank you so much for watching Off Field. I'm Scott Schaefer, Nate Jackson. We love you. Okay? Wish flower.
Bye.